Welcome to the Amputee Coalition webinar. The National Limb Loss Resource Center is here for you. This webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on the Amputee Coalition website. If you have questions for our experts about this topic, please enter them in the Q&A function that's part of the webinar platform, and we'll get to them when we get to the Q&A portion at the end of our presentation. Our speakers today are Caitlyn Hurley, she's the manager of the National Limb Loss Resource Center, and Katie Moreno, who is the manager of the Amputee Coalition's peer support programs. Caitlyn, I'm going to start with you. Will you tell us about the National Limb Loss Resource Center and all that it has to offer?
Sure. Well, the National Limb Loss Resource Center provides information and resources to those in the limb loss and limb difference community free of charge. And there are several different ways that you can connect with the National Limb Loss Resource Center and the resources that we offer. I will start with our actual information and referral center. Our team in the Information Referral Center are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. And there's several ways that you can connect with one of our information referral specialists. You can reach out to us through our web form. You can reach out to us through social media. You can email us, or you can call us at our toll-free number. Whenever we're talking about the resource center and calling the number, we're not your traditional call center. There are only 3 of us that are in the National Limb Loss Resource Center. So there may be some times where you will get a voicemail, but I urge you to please leave us a message so that way we can get back in touch with you. All of our resource center team, we're all certified through the Alliance of Information Referral Services. So we are trained to answer questions on a wide variety of topics, and also trained to be able to point you towards national, state-based, and local resources based on your needs. So we're all trained, and we also when we're making referrals, we can't make a direct referral to a specific provider or a specific service. But what we try to do is provide you with tools so that way you can make an educated decision on a provider or a service or a product. We do offer several printed patient materials. We have, some of them are on the screen now. We have First Step, which is a guide to adapting to limb loss, our Your New Journey series, our bi-monthly magazine In Motion, and pain management brochures, our insurance coverage and reimbursement guide. These are just a few of the patient education materials that we offer. Also in the Resource Center, we develop fact sheets on a wide variety of topics. We have fact sheets that are centered around financial assistance for a prosthesis. We have caregiver resources, resources for children, adaptive sports and recreation resources. The list really does go on and on with our fact sheets, and we're continually researching and trying to create more resources and fact sheets. We have several self-management programs. Also, we have our Community Connections platform, which allows you to type in your zip code and you can research national, state-based, and local resources. This is an ever-growing platform while we continually research resources across the nation. So we are continually adding resources into Community Connections. We have our community events portal, which allows community members and organizations and professionals to add events into our platform, so that way they can be added to our community calendar. And it also allows you to be able to search for either a virtual event or an event that's occurring in your area. We have our Improving Wellbeing program, which was created in conjunction with Johns Hopkins University. It originally was developed to help prosthetists gauge their patients' mental health and well-being. However, anybody has access to this platform, and you'll go through a self-assessment, and it will, whenever you're done with the self-assessment, it will give you a life satisfaction score and a distress score, and then also give you the ability to search for resources around your area. Along with that, we have our Promoting Amputee Life Skills program, which is PALS for short. We developed this with Johns Hopkins as well, and it is an 8-lesson online program that helps you to develop skills to improve your quality of life. And we're actually in the process right now of creating a 9th lesson that's centered around returning to work after limb loss. We also have our prosthetist finder, which allows prosthetists to go in and create a profile, and then will give you the ability to type in your zip code and find a certified prosthetist in your area.
So this is really impressive. There's a lot that the Resource Center offers. I want to hear from you a little bit about what the kinds of messages that you get, or interactions, the phone calls, emails, Facebook, the question form on the website. What are some typical inquiries or questions that you handle in the Resource Center?
Well, we like to say we get anything and everything. We get, a whole wide array of questions, but some of our top questions that we get are centered around financial assistance or funding for a prosthesis, someone reaching out for vehicle modifications or home modification resources, people looking for resources in their local area. That, some people just don't know what's available around them. And then also someone may reach out to us to find some form of support, whether it be with a certified peer visitor or being connected to a local support group.
And that actually is a really good segue to the next piece of our programming today. Katie, peer support programs are at the heart of the Amputee Coalition's mission. Could you talk a little bit about support groups and what it might be like to visit with a peer, meaning someone who has gone through a similar experience? What does the Amputee Coalition offer in this area?
So with 2.1 million people living with limb loss and limb difference, our mission is that no one goes through that journey alone. Whether it be pre-amputation or post-amputation, or just living with limb loss, limb difference. Our peer support volunteers help us fulfill our mission, and it's increasing every year. Those numbers keep going up. And so it's so important to have peer visits available to meet. So I kind of want to talk about what is a peer visit. So a peer visit is really just any interaction with someone that has shared a similar experience as you with living with limb loss or limb difference. And it's really about providing support and information and helping them with their recovery and readjustment back to their new normal. So any of these ways that's listed on the slide are ways that these peer visits occur. So who can receive a peer visit? So adults, children, veterans, military members, living with limb loss and limb difference, all of those people can receive a peer visit. In addition to, if you're considering amputation, we have all kinds of resources and people to connect you with to talk to you about living with limb loss or limb difference. Individuals who are at risk for a pending amputation, we want to be your go-to resource to find someone to talk to, as well as caregivers and care partners. We know that you go through this journey as well with your loved ones, And we want to ensure that you're not going through that journey alone either. In support group members, we provide support too. Some of the benefits of peer support is really just sharing experiences, and sharing those experiences are such a power influence from peer to peer. Sharing hope, watching someone walk in your room or tie their hair with a ponytail, it encourages you. There is a way I can reach out, ask questions. It's just an opportunity for people to share knowledge with each other and just be a resource for the community. So we really want you to know that you are not alone and we are here for you, but it's not just the Amputee Coalition. We couldn't do our mission without our volunteers, which there's over 1,000 certified peer visitors and 50 trainers, certified peer trainers, who help train others. So that way we grow, our volunteer base grows. So that way that 2.1 million people don't have to go through it alone. So we're here for you. So I hope that answers your question, Carol.
I want to add a follow-up. When you spoke about kind of the benefits of a peer visit and sharing that knowledge and having someone to talk to, are there any health benefits in talking to a peer?
So it has been proven that evidence-based that peer visits do increase results for people living with limb loss.
That's great. I want to throw out a question to the two of you before we go to the questions that are being asked. It seems like we all are thinking about our own well-being and emotional well-being a little more than we might have in the past. Caitlyn, I'm going to throw this to you first. Can you talk about how the Resource Center and your work supports the overall mental health and well-being of members of our community?
Yes. A lot of our printed materials like First Step and our level specific booklets, we do have sections in there that are focused on your mental health and well-being. The Improving Well-Being program to help you self-assess where you are. And also just having a person on the phone whenever you call in, so that way you feel comfortable enough asking the hard questions, and you know that you're going to get a empathetic ear on the other side. So I mean, we really, like Katie said, we really want to make sure with all of our resources that you do not feel like you're alone in this journey.
Katie, is there anything that you want to add about how your specific work in peer support supports overall mental health and well-being?
So obviously we have certified peer visitors that are available to meet with you on a one-to-one basis if you don't feel comfortable coming to a support group. But I just kind of want to talk just real quickly about support groups and just how important and how powerful they are. They're just a safe place where people can ask questions, offer help. It builds confidence, not knowing, you're the only one going through that same situation. It allows people to connect to each other. There is probably at least one moment that matters that happens in every support group on Thursday nights. And it actually just gives me chills thinking about just the moments that do happen. So our support groups are a great mix of certified peer visitors. They're a great mix of support group leaders, and also people beginning their journey on limb loss, or people who have had limb loss and limb difference, reaching back out, ready now to get involved, or still needing and seeking help. So we have people of all different ranges that go to our support groups. It's just a time to ask questions, encourage each other, and empower each other. And if you don't mind, Carol, I just want to share a moment that mattered that happened in the last couple months, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so we had a family jump onto one of our calls, and they had a brother that was a family member that just had an amputation, and they wanted to make sure that he got back to doing what he loved, which was firefighting. And it just happened to be on that same call that the national president of the amputee firefighters was on that call as well. And it was just a magical moment to be a part of and see the encouragement and the connection there that happened, that they were going to connect from this point on. So so that's why I think it's so important. And you don't, if you come to one of our support groups, we had a lady who came for 2 months. She didn't say nothing. She kept her camera off, but she was just there. And she just wrote to us probably 2 weeks ago, just saying how these meetings has changed her life and has given her hope. So
beautiful. Oh my goodness, the coincidence of the National Volunteer Firefighter person being on the same call, that does give you chills. You
it
just
was
never ever know where you're going to find help and when you're going to find those connections. I'm glad we can provide those opportunities.
Me too.
I'm going to go to some of our questions. Caitlyn, this first one is for you. One of our viewers asks, do you have any information about how to live with or handle pain?
Yes. A lot of like our first step and our level specific booklets also have a section on pain management. We actually have a brochure series that is centered around pain management, with intro to pain management, phantom limb pain management, and residual limb pain management. And we have a whole section on our website that is also dedicated to pain management.
That's great. That's really helpful. And it's on the bottom of this slide, but the website is amputee/coalition.org. And there's a search tool in the, I believe, upper right-hand corner where you can enter any of your search terms that you're experiencing, and a lot of resources will show up in the search return.
And I'll also add real quickly, if you are having difficulty finding exactly what it is you're looking for, please click on our Ask an Information Specialist form so you can send us the question and we can get back in touch with you and try to point you in the right direction.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with our audience. Katie, this next question is for you. How do I find a peer visitor who has the same kind of upper arm amputation that I have?
So that is a great question. All you have to do is email peer support at amputeecoalition.org and talk to our peer support specialist, and they will match you up with someone who does have your same level of limb loss. I also saw a Q&A in the chat too from Amy. So if you want to just email peer support at amputee-coalition.org, we will definitely find a certified peer visitor with your same limb loss so that you can have someone to talk to.
And another question just showed up in the chat, Katie, almost in the same area. Do you have peer visitors who are under 18 for the pediatric folks living with limb loss?
We do. It's kind of co-team, so it would be the child living with limb loss and then the parent accompanying them. But yes, we do. So same thing with that. If you are in need of a visit, please just email peer support at amputee-coalition.org.
Caitlyn, I'm going to toss this next question to you. Traveling has become problematic, and this member of our community is having issues with figuring out how to travel. No longer able to stay with family and friends, needs to find accommodations that will work for his or her large wheelchair. Do you have any information or resources or referrals that this individual could look into about travel?
Yes, actually, we do have a fact sheet that is on the TSA. We have information that we can get out to you and try to, traveling is a wide topic. It's going to be different if you're looking at flying. It's going to be different if you're looking at, going by train, going on a cruise. We do have resources that we can refer you to in regards to accommodations when traveling. So if you are having issues, you can reach out to us and we will see what resources we can send to you.
And another one for you, Caitlin, what resources do you have for people who speak Spanish?
We do, all of our publications are we do have Spanish translations of them. And we do have we have access to language line. So when someone contacts us by phone or even by email, we've had them translate emails for us, but we do have access to live interpretation services. So we can send out, and we also can send that information out to someone in Spanish.
That's great. And I believe the Amputee Coalition's magazine, In Motion, is online both in English and in Spanish. Is that correct?
I believe it is, yes.
Great. This question can actually go out to both of you. We've got an individual who's been a below knee amputee for about 1.5 years, and during that time hasn't worked. Do you all in the Resource Center, are there referrals or information sheets about how to apply for disability? And then Katie, also, are there peer visitors who maybe receive disability benefits that this person could talk to about how to navigate that system?
We that's actually a huge question that we're actually looking at making into a fact sheet to make it easy and accessible. Everybody's going to be different whenever they're going through the application process for disability. We do have resources either at the state or local level that we can get you in touch with that can help you with that process.
Katie, do you have any peer support or peer visitors that can also help connect with this person? Maybe they've applied for and gone through the process?
And I will tell you too, on our support group calls is a great way to ask that question, because you've got 40 to 50 people on there who all have different experiences, different stories, and they're all willing to share. So it's a great opportunity to connect and hear from others, their journey with qualifying and getting disability.
And Katie, I see you're putting some really great links in the chat for folks who are asking about not only how do I find a peer visitor, but how can I become one? Would you also mind sharing the link to the Amputee Coalition's online support groups? This is something new that the coalition is doing. They are held every Thursday evening, and they're held at different time zones so that you can attend them whenever you want to, but the coalition wants to make sure that all different times are available for folks in different time zones. If you wouldn't mind sharing that link so that people could click on that and register, that would be great.
So I included how to request a peer visit. You can go online to our application or email the peer support at amputeecoalition.org. You can go, there is the application to become a certified peer visitor. And currently we are revising our curriculum. So just know that is on hold and is coming soon. And then also there's the link for a virtual support group as well.
That's great. Caitlin, I think two of these questions will apply, I think, to community connections, but I want you to give us some insight on that. So we've got an individual who's having trouble finding local transportation to their doctor appointments in another town or another city. And then we also have an individual who wants to know if you have a list of providers whether it's a psychologist or a psychiatrist for amputees. Now, are both of those things, travel and counseling, available when you search in our community connections tool?
In regards to transportation, like I said before, we're still researching more and more resources to add because it's for the entire nation. So one place that I will urge people to reach out to is their local 211 to see if those are individuals that are in your community that will know of the different transportation services. And then also, if you do contact us and you're having issues with transportation, where we're certified through AIRS, the Alliance for Information Referral Services, we know what to search to see what we can find in your local area. And I'm sorry, what was the other? The psychologists.
This list of psychologists in the area.
Yes. Well, where we can't make a direct referral to a mental health counselor or psychologist, we do have tools that we can provide you that you can search for a mental health professional. And within that search, you can actually click on, I believe it's dealing with a chronic illness. And that way you can start narrowing your search down to someone who is qualified and to deal with individuals who are dealing with either a chronic illness or an amputation.
This is for both of you. Two questions kind of similar in nature about where you might be able to find support and information. What about rejoining the workforce? Let's say you don't qualify for disability. What kind of resources do we have, both in terms of referrals or education, or maybe a peer visitor who's navigated the back to work experience? And then also adaptive clothing. It's especially hard for women to find adaptive clothing. So when you think about going back to work and finding new clothing, Katie, is that something that maybe some peer visitors can assist with, talking about their experience? And then Caitlyn, what does the Amputee Coalition provide in those areas?
So I live with limb loss. So clothing was super important after my amputation, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and what shoes work and what doesn't work with my prosthetic. So I would definitely encourage, just reaching out to us for a peer visit. And so that way we can connect you with another lady who is figuring out, hey, is leggings with dresses better? I will tell a personal story, however, real quick. Before my amputation, I had someone ask me, are you still going to wear dresses, or are you not going to wear dresses? Are you going to start wearing pantsuits? And my response to them was, I am who I am. And my leg doesn't define me, so I'm going to wear dresses. But that's just my personal preference. And it just works out for me. But I would say, yeah, definitely request a peer visit request.
Caitlyn, returning to work, adaptive clothing that is fashionable and current, how do you help people with those questions?
Well, we do have a fact sheet that is around employment resources for those in the limb loss or limb difference community. And we also have a fact sheet that is adaptive clothing resources. So, and what we will do is, if we can definitely send you this information, or you can find it on our website. And then if you have more, what's the word I'm looking for? Specific questions, sorry. You can contact us and we will try to find things in your local area, especially whenever it's in regards to returning to work. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we are working at making a new module to the PALS program that is centered around returning to work.
We also covered in, I believe it was the March-April 2020 issue of In Motion, there's a feature story about a woman named Toni, T-O-N-I, Furmanski, F-U-R-M-A-N-S-K-I. And she's an Instagram influencer who is living with limb loss. And she talks a lot about body positivity, clothing, wardrobe, just all kind of adjustments and new ways to think about your body. So Google her. We'll also, when we post this webinar online on our website, we'll have a set of resources there of all the things that we've talked about. So those links will be easy to find for you. I'm gonna ask one last question before we sign off for the day. We have a support group locator. I believe we're still doing that. So how does someone add their support group to the Amputee Coalition's resources? Katie?
I was gonna let Caitlyn answer this one.
Well, if you're not already registered as a support group through the Amputee Coalition, you can register with us, and then that will add you to our support group locator, and it will also be included in our Community Connections online searchable database.
That is wonderful. Katie, Caitlyn, thank you so much for sharing all of this important information. The National Limb Loss Resource Center and the Amputee Coalition's peer support programs are here for you. They're here to serve everyone in our community, and I hope you'll take advantage of them. So to all of you out there watching, thank you for coming. And remember, you can reach any of us to ask any kind of question. Just call the National Limb Loss Resource Center. That phone number is 888-267-5669. And you press option 1 when you hear the recording. You can also email the Resource Center at rc@amputee-coalition.org. And the peer support team, you can reach at peer, PEERSUPPORT, peer support at amputeecoalition.org. We will make this recording available. Give us a day or two to get this uploaded to our YouTube channel and then our website. And we'll send an email to those of you who attended when that link goes live so that you can come back, rewatch, and catch up on anything that you might have missed. You can also find a lot more information than just the things we talked about and all of our resources at amputee-coalition.org. Also on the website, you'll see a link that you can click where you can ask an information specialist for help with whatever you need. It'll automatically send an email to our team and they will get right on it. Thank you all for coming. We wish you all the best and please stay in touch. Thanks.